Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Continuing to take a look at the next week's slate. We got the Texas Longhorns heading on the road to play Houston. This is going to be a glorified home game for the Texas Longhorns. You're going to see a lot of Texas fans in attendance here. And two, I want to just recap. Texas coming off a brutal loss to Oklahoma where you lose your 3-year starting center. You go back and watch that film. I've watched that game a couple of times at this point now. This Texas team is so good. Everything is still in front of them. I would take that game 100 times out of 100 in terms of being able to watch that every Saturday. Two really good teams playing really good football. And to be quite honest, you're going to see a rematch of these two teams at the end of the year as well. A lot of the national media jumping down Texas' throat saying that they aren't back. This is such a good Texas team. Really excited to get into this one. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys. The support y'all have shown for these game breakdowns, it truly does mean a lot. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. More importantly, let me know in the comment section how you guys are feeling about this one, what you're looking for in this matchup. Without further ado, let's get into this. And I want to start with this Texas offense going up against the Houston defense that really not good. You saw West Virginia sling the ball around. This is a West Virginia offense that runs the ball 63% of the time. They do not like to throw the football. They put up 330 passing yards against this Houston defense. Looking at this Texas offense, you talk about a bounce back opportunity, especially on offense. I really think they're going to get it going. And I want to talk about Quinn Ewers first, right? You look at the box score in that Red River game, 2 interceptions, fumble lost. After that first quarter, you watch the film back, that offense led by Quinn Ewers, it was a masterclass. Quinn Ewers was so sharp, and it's going to get overshadowed by the loss, and it's going to get overshadowed by the two interceptions. When you go back and watch Quinn Ewers, phenomenal performance against Oklahoma in those last 3 quarters. And two, from a college football fan looking at this Texas team, you got to love to see it, right? A really rough start. Quinn Ewers battles back, plays some of the best football we've seen him play as a Texas Longhorn. And this offense is going to be just fine. And obviously losing your starting center, some of those guys on the offensive line were not 100%. Getting these guys healthy out of the bye week is going to be massive. Now, looking at this Texas offense and how it matches up against Houston secondary, very, very weak, allowing 8.1 yards per pass. That is outside of the top 100. Giving up the explosive play, that is exactly what Texas wants to do. Xavier Worthy, we all know he's a stud. I would like to see A.D. Mitchell get more involved. Xavier Worthy is the number one in this offense. Don't get me wrong. It's a wide receiver 1A, wide receiver 1B situation, though, because A.D. Mitchell is a dude. I'd like to see him get more touches. And then J.T. Sanders, just getting him back to being 100% is going to be massive because he's a true game changer in terms of working that middle of the field. Dog after the catch. You could tell he wasn't right against Oklahoma. And of course he's going to play because it's the biggest game of the season. I would think that if JT Sanders is feeling like that against Houston, he's probably sitting out, right? And she struggled in blocking on the line of scrimmage. He struggled blocking outside the perimeter. Getting JT Sanders healthy back, going to be massive. Jordan Whittington emerging as that kind of wide receiver 3 in this offense. We said it going into the game. When you have 2 wide receivers in A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy, where you really need to respect that speed, those safeties need to be on the boundary looking for that deep ball. It's going to open up the offense so much for Jordan Whittington and JT Sanders. And that's kind of what you saw for Texas against Oklahoma. Really pepper in the middle of the field. Jordan Whittington, 10 catches for over 100 yards. Really good. Y'all know if you're a Texas fan, been listening, he's my favorite player on this Texas team. Never complains about kind of getting phased out of the offense a little bit. Just does his job. Really gritty blocker. Love Jordan Whittington. Offensive line, probably their worst performance against Oklahoma, but I like to see them get a bounce back performance here. It's a Houston team that is not very good stopping the run. Jonathan Brooks emerging as that true running back 1 in this Texas offense. And y'all remember, I was in on C.J. Baxter. I'm still in on C.J. Baxter, but Jonathan Brooks, some of you guys said in the comment section preseason, keep an eye on Jonathan Brooks. And the recruiting nerd I only wanted to talk about C.J. Baxter. Jonathan Brooks is an absolute dude in this offense. Overall, a really good bounce back game, an opportunity for a bounce back game for Texas on the offensive side of the ball. Now, flipping over, The thing I'm most excited about in this matchup is what crushed Texas against Oklahoma was Dylan Gabriel extending plays and using his legs. And you're going to get a chance to see that kind of look again in Donovan Smith, who the transfer from Texas Tech, he's been sharp, 66% completion percentage, 13 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. This is a guy that has a big arm, but more importantly, can really extend plays and be a threat with his legs outside of the pocket. That's what hurt Texas. And I'm really excited to see them get another chance to get that kind of look against a mobile quarterback. Because when you look at it, those linebackers weren't good enough. And it's hard to fault them too much because when you're prepping for Oklahoma, Dylan Gabriel is really never, you knew he was an athlete. He's never been that dynamic with his legs. I think it quite frankly just caught those linebackers off guard. Guys like Jalen Ford, David Benda, who've been phenomenal most of the season, just didn't have that great of a game. Now, what I'm looking for Texas is up front, the guys in the middle. I mean, Tavondre Sweat has a 21 pass rush win rate from the inside. He's looking like, when we get into the NFL draft season, a true first-round NFL draft pick. Elite against the run, taking on double teams, just being a run stuffer. But he can get after the passer from the inside. You look at Byron Murphy, 19.5% pass rush win rate. They're winning on the inside. What I would like to see more of is the guys on the outside producing a little bit more pressure. When you look at that game, like, they have the dudes, Ethan Burke, Barron Sorrell, some other guys, they have the personnel to be game wreckers on the edge. You haven't really seen that. And when you talk about going and beating Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game, winning a national championship, this team can certainly do all those things. One of the missing pieces on this defense is getting those edge rushers going. Again, I feel like they create a lot of havoc, but you look at the sack percentage, only 6.7% sack percentage on opposing quarterback dropbacks. That's only 56th in the country. With the personnel they have in that front seven, even with guys like Anthony Hill coming off the edge, that number should be higher, and I'm looking for it to get higher as Texas rolls into the back half of the schedule. In the back end, some unfortunate calls, no doubt about that. I still think they're really solid, and most importantly, they're deep, right? Malik Murphy, Gavin Holmes, Ryan Watts, Terrence Brooks, a laundry list of good cornerbacks, and an era in the transfer portal where teams just want to find depth. Like, Texas has so much depth that competition is making everyone in that room better, and they're going to have their hands full against what I think is one of the better wide receiving rooms in the Big 12. Sam Brown, Matthew Golden, Joseph Manjack. These guys can create explosive plays on the outside. Really looking forward to seeing those cornerbacks have kind of a bounce back performance as well. Now, getting to the pick, this line's bounced around a bunch. It's sitting at 22.5, so it's gone up. People are on the Texas Longhorns, and I can't quite frankly blame them. Like, this is a Texas team that playing their A ball is going to go in and beat Houston. What I'm looking for more for Texas fans is, can you see some of those things kind of emerge? Does JT Sanders and that offensive line, do those guys look healthy? Are we attacking the middle of the field? And on defense, can we impact the passer a little bit more? But more importantly, when you're posed with a mobile quarterback like Donovan Smith, can you handle him a little bit more? Right? I mean, I'm guessing they looked at the film a lot and spent the bye week in the last 2 weeks really looking at how they can handle quarterbacks that are athletic and can extend plays. I'm looking for them to have a bounce back game on the defensive side of the ball and kind of play like that dominant Texas team that they can be. So excited for this one. I'll be taking Texas to cover. I know it's a big number. Probably don't love it out of 3 touchdowns, but this Texas team playing their best ball should win handily. If you're a Texas fan, you're looking for some of those things that kind of makes Texas a true national championship contender. And again, it's looking like we're going to get a run back of that OU Texas game in the Big 12 championship. And I quite frankly can't wait, because these are 2 of the best teams that we see across the entire country. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. More importantly, Texas fan, I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section about that Oklahoma game. I gave you guys some of my takeaways while trying to blend in that Houston preview. Would love to hear from you guys as well. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.